Hello again, we are back with some yoga flow action for you. I'm calling this particular sequence yoga or a good morning flow. I think it's a great sequence of postures to wake up your body and to really get your day started. We're going to start by basically warming up the upper body, so working with the neck. To start here, just bring your right ear to your left shoulder. Drop your chin down, like so. So basically neck rolls or whatever you want to call it. Just releasing tension from the neck. Stopping wherever you feel it if you want to hold for a few seconds. Okay, and then back to the center. Take your right hand. Think of pushing the floor away, and as you do it, let's see which side we want to go to. Yeah, drop your left ear to your left shoulder. So pushing down, you'll really feel it down the side of your the right side of your neck. It doesn't look like I'm doing much, but something about that action as you stretch the side. So pushing away the floor, drop your ear to your shoulder. Other side. Pushing away the floor with your left hand, drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Cool. Next is working the fingers, the arms. So just doing this a few times and then bring your arms up and just do some circles. So start with some really big circles and then kind of start to get a little bit smaller. Maybe raising your arms up a little bit, getting into the shoulders. Cool, and now the other way, small to start. And then getting a little bigger. It's really getting the blood flowing with this sequence as you start out your day. From there, going to move into we're going to warm up the spine, basically. Side, side, forward, backwards. So starting by warming up the spine in a lateral direction with your feet together and your legs strong. So think of squeezing your ankles, your thighs, your glutes. Bring your arms up. Interlace your fingers and release your index fingers. Keep your chest up and your chin up. Take a deep breath here. Stretch up. And then just start to bend to the right. It can be just a little bit. Do whatever feels good for you. At the same time, think of pushing your hips in the opposite direction. So your hips are moving to the left here, and your upper body's coming down to the right. And again, you can go as far as feels good for you. You want to keep the chest lifted and your legs strong. Coming back to the center and moving on to the other side. So your legs are strong, stretch up. Your hips come to the right and your torso comes down to the left. And then back to the center. Next, we're going to do a little bit of a back bend. So as you remember, with back bends, we want to keep the glutes tight to protect the lower spine. Only go as back as you feel comfortable this morning. So take a deep inhale. Drop your head back. And on the exhale, just start to reach back. You're pushing your hips forward and you're pulling your arms back. Go as far as you can, as far as feels good for you today. Back to the center. Inhale, exhale, coming forward now. So we've warmed up the sides, we've warmed up our back body, and now we're moving into the front. So once your hands touch the floor, actually, first of all, your hands might not touch the floor. So as you come forward, bend your knees, no problem. Touch your hands and just take a few minutes here, shake it out. So do anything that feels good for you just to loosen up. Anything at all. Good, and then if you can straighten your legs, you can hang out here for a second. Just allow the top of your head to fall heavily towards the top of the feet. Otherwise, you can keep a bend in the knees. Just kind of feel the stretch down the backs of your legs. You can again walk it out or just stay here. Feel it out for you. And now, stepping back into downward dog. Oh, actually, let's not do that quite yet. So feet together. Standing back up, let's warm up the legs a little bit. So for this, I'll just show you and just try to follow along with the breath. So we're gonna inhale. On the exhale, you can kind of do one of these and squeeze your butt a bit. Why not? So especially if you have bad circulation, or I shouldn't say bad, but poor, this can be really good. Just warming up the legs, the feet, the ankles, your whole lower body. And now, stepping to the front of your mat, take a big step. Pigeon toe your toes in a little bit. If you're somebody who suffers from sciatica, keep your feet straight. Otherwise, pigeon toe your toes. Try to lock out the knees again. Lift the chest, inhale. And then with a flat back, come down. Think of sticking your butt back, but also up to the ceiling, so that as you come forward, the body weight also comes forward into your toes. Your hands can stay on the floor here. If you need to keep a bend in the knees, that's fine. What you're trying to do is work on bringing the weight into the toes and just work on locking the knees. Hold here, a few breaths. If you want to, an extra stretch for the shoulders. You can interlace your fingers behind your back and just start to bring your arms overhead. Probably you'll be somewhere like here. If you happen to be really flexible through the shoulders, you can work on bringing your arms all the way down. Might not go this far. It's likely they won't. This is kind of weird that I can even do that. Some people think anyway. Again, just working out whatever feels tight for you this morning. Or whenever you choose to do this. It doesn't have to be the morning. Cool, release that one. And coming back up, turn your right foot out. We're going to move into triangle pose. From here, bend your right knee. So you're sinking into your hips here. This is a great posture to strengthen your legs and to warm up your legs, but also to open your hips. So sinking your hips down with your thigh parallel. So if you wanted to, you could balance a glass here and it wouldn't fall. So thigh parallel to the floor, just inhale and move your arms. So basically your right elbow is going to come in front of your right knee. You should have like a triangle shape here if you're doing it correctly. So your chest stays very lifted. This way your lungs are open. This way you can still calmly breathe. You're stretching down and you're stretching up. And just keep bending your right knee. Eventually we get the fingertips to the floor, but keep the chest up. And then coming up, pivot to face the other way. Left foot turns out, same thing. This might be really intense. Even if you can just go down a little bit and do something like this, then eventually you're just going to keep bending this knee to sink down more. So as much as you can, left thigh is parallel. The knee is going back. You're stretching up. Coming back up. Pivot to face the right side. Your back foot is at a 45-degree angle now, and your right foot faces forward. Bring your arms up. Bring your left hip forward a couple of times so that your left hip lines up with your right one. Inhale. And as you exhale, tuck your chin, thinking of bringing your belly button towards your spine. Exhale all the way down. Now here, to start, just bring your hands on the floor, lift your right heel and just stretch your calf. Bringing your foot back down, what we're gonna do, this is gonna sound kind of weird. This is actually a Bikram posture. It's an awesome posture. You wanna bring your forehead to the knee. Now what we're gonna be doing here is compressing the glands in our throat. This is really good for our thyroid, for our parathyroid, basically for balancing our metabolism. So tapping essentially into the glandular system. So that happens as soon as we create like a throat choking sensation. So we want to have our forehead with our knee. If you need to, bend the knee, no problem. Okay, so forehead is with the knee. Then from here, little by little, we're working to straighten the leg. From here, with the forehead on the knee, maybe the hands can come back together. Breathe normally though, and keep your forehead on the knee. To come up, think of pressing your right foot down and keeping your left hip forward. Come up if you can using your core. Pivot, we're gonna do the other side. So bring your right hip forward a few times. Inhale, exhale. Your left hip lifts up towards the ceiling. So again, maybe you're able to come right into it. If you need to, you can bend your knee. Forehead is with the knee, most importantly. That rhymed. Whoa. So again, the throat choking sensation is exactly what we're looking for. Feels uncomfortable, feels weird. Breathe as normally as you can under these weird circumstances. Coming up, inhale, right hip forward, left foot down. Pivot, feet together, arms down. Okay, downward dog. Excuse me for having to check my sheet here. Warming up the core. Right leg, extend it back, come forward into a plank. Bring your forehead on the exhale, or your knee to your forehead. Exhale. Inhale, exhale. Five times. Other side. Exhale. Try to keep your heel close to your butt. So now the core's all fired up. Going to come onto our bellies and just do one posture for our spine and then a posture actually that's really good for our digestion. So bow pose to basically strengthen the total spine, but also increase the flexibility through the spine. So grabbing your feet. Baby fingers are with the base of your toes, chin on the floor. Take an inhale, and then on your exhale, you're gonna kick. So inhale, and start to kick up. You wanna think of relaxing your head back. Your head might only come here. Eventually your head will go all the way back, perhaps. Think of kicking. So you're using your butt to get your thighs off the floor to increase the flexibility through your spine so that eventually your feet are way up in the air. If your spine is kind of stiff, your thighs might not lift up off the floor at all. Little by little, this is how it goes. So just think of using your butt muscles to kick your thighs up. So inhale, go to where you can. Find your breath. And then coming down. Onto your back. So I was raised in a household where we didn't really talk about bodily functions, so I'm not going to go into details here, but just basically bring your right knee up. What we're doing is we're going to work ascending colon, descending colon, and then in the third part of this posture, we're going to work transverse colon. So this is just a great posture for your digestive system. So right knee first, you're gonna interlace your fingers. This is also a Bikram posture. And then keeping your elbows in and your shoulders down, we're just gonna bring the knee towards the shoulder. We're not pulling it on top of the rib cage. We're avoiding the rib cage towards the shoulder. Pull. You'll feel a little bit of a pinching sensation, hopefully on the right side. Let that go. Left side. Elbows in, chin down. So you're using your biceps and you're using your fingers, strengthening also the fingers, the hands. Knee to the shoulder. Your right shoulder stays down. Pull harder if you need to with your right arm to keep it there. Cool. Other side, or last side, or no side, both sides together. So bring your upper body up. Grab your elbows if you can. So some of you may have to stay here or maybe grabbing your forearms, that's fine. The goal ultimately is to get the elbows into the palms of the hands, but just grab as high up on your arm as you can. So you bring your upper body up to do what you can with that, and then squeeze your knees together. Bring your upper body back down. Now here, tuck your chin. Use some of your muscle to ground your shoulders. And now think of squeezing your knees together and also pulling down on the shins so that your knees come into your chest. Squeeze together, pull down. So your upper back comes down, your mid back comes down, and eventually your whole spine is flat on the floor. Hold here a few breaths. Releasing that, you can just roll your spine out a little bit. And now hopefully feeling really energized and ready to start your day.